The dysfunction in Washington, even worse than what you're used to. We are less than 32 hours away from a likely shutdown of the U.S. federal government, and the hole Speaker Kevin McCarthy dug for himself seems to only be getting deeper. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is now reaching out to House Democrats, including Progressive Caucus Chairwoman, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, to help him oust McCarthy as Speaker. Politico is reporting that Jayapal is telling Gaetz, quote, "We're not planning to save McCarthy." Let's bring in our panel, Democratic strategist Nayyera Haq and Lanhee Chen, a fellow with the Hoover Institution. And Lanhee, Congressman Gaetz reaching out to Democrats to oust McCarthy. At the same time, Gaetz was threatening to oust McCarthy if McCarthy worked with Democrats to keep the government open.
Yeah, it's an unholy alliance now that's been created. The funny thing about this is going to be the shutdown over absolutely nothing, right? And Matt Gaetz is one of these nihilists who's basically decided he's going to shut it down because he feels like shutting it down. It's not like they're getting concessions. It's not like they're getting closer to policy aims. This is really just about the ambitions of a few people to do more so that more people recognize who they are. And now reaching out to Democrats, not even moderate Democrats, but progressive Democrats, mind you, to oust the only person who probably could do this job right now. It's ludicrous.
And it's not just Lanhee saying this, Nayyera. As you know, Congressman Mike Rogers of, I believe, Alabama told Politico, quote, "There is something between them, and I don't know what it is. It's not policy-driven. It's personal," talking about Gaetz and Speaker McCarthy. We've had shutdowns in the past over the border wall. We've had shutdowns in the past about Obamacare. I'm not quite certain what this one is about, although it's certainly the animus between Gaetz and McCarthy is definitely playing a role.
It's going to be really challenging to explain to the American public why the government is shutting down. They are the party in power right now in Congress, and they cannot have a message about helping the American people at this time. 90% of Americans have savings. Those same people cannot cover $1,000 in emergencies. I had a nephew hit me up this week trying to figure out what was going on with the shutdown. He's a tech sergeant in the U.S. Air Force. He has 2 children. He said, "Auntie, how long is it going to go for?" I said, "You should prepare for 2 weeks. Are you going to be okay?" He goes, "I don't know, but we'll figure it out." I had no answer for him other than it's football season. They're playing political football with your paycheck.
Yeah, and it's clear there are Republicans in the House getting frustrated with Matt Gaetz, although he's not the. I mean, there are a lot of authors of this shutdown, but take a listen to New York Congressman Mike Lawler.
There's only one person to blame for any potential government shutdown, and that's Matt Gaetz. He's not a conservative Republican, he's a charlatan. And as far as I'm concerned, when you're working with Democrats to try to vacate the speaker, you're a joke.
Do you think Gaetz is entirely to blame?
I don't know about entirely. He's certainly one of the prime instigators here, but there's a group. I mean, to think about the Freedom Caucus as a unified bloc, I think is a little misleading.
Gaetz is not in the Freedom Caucus.
I mean, there's been this blame that's been ascribed to this group of hard right legislators. The reality is you have a subset of this group. Matt Gaetz is probably one of the folks who certainly is in a leading role, but it takes more than just one person, in my view, to make what we've got right now. Matt Gaetz is a principal instigator in this. But the notion that he alone is responsible, I think, is probably a little bit generous to him.
And Nayyera, how do you think Democrats should play this? Just sit back and let them kill each other?
Listen, there's not much power that Democrats have in Congress right now other than standing up for the principles and ethics and values of the institution. So they're going to let the Republicans who wanted the speakership so badly manage this and figure this out on their own.
One of the things that's so weird about the shutdown is even this bill that failed, that McCarthy put forward, was not going to avert the shutdown. I mean, that's what's so strange about it, right? McCarthy had cut a deal with the Senate and the White House in, I think, May. And then he was getting pressure from his hard right caucus that he was agreeing to too much spending. And so he walked away from the deal that he himself agreed to. And now he's in the spot. He puts forward a spending bill that the Senate was not going to take up. I mean, none of this was going to work, and it's all ridiculous.
Well, the challenge is most people don't understand the Rules Committee and how things actually go between the House and the Senate and the deals that have been cut. And McCarthy isn't that type of leader to go past that misunderstanding.
What do you mean by that type of leader?
He has not been able to build a coalition within his own party. His agenda is about staying in power. right?
Yeah.
He was willing to go through more than a dozen votes just to be Speaker. The fact that he had to go through so many indicates that he did not have a coalition that could actually make decisions.
Lonnie, just a quick question here. Speaker McCarthy, the weakest speaker you've ever seen, or what do you think?
I think he's been dealt the hardest hand of any speaker I've ever seen. I don't think it's fair to say he's the weakest speaker. I think, in fact, again, he's the only person in the current situation that can even deal with this group. And we'll see if he can.